Hey everybody, it's Mitch and welcome to my next video. Today we are going to be discussing something. As you know, I play a lot of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 and well, today we're going to be comparing 3.5 to 5e. So that's what we're going to be talking about today because I have played 5e. I played it for about a year or so. I don't think I did a video on this already. If I did, well, we got it again, but I don't think I've done it. So how is 5e? Is it any good? And how does it compare to 3.5? Well, first off, yes, it is actually a good game. And there are a lot of advantages to it. And we're going to go over them. So 5e, how I like to think of it, is it's a very dumbed down compared to 3.5. The rules are very much streamlined. There's a lot of simplification going on. In my opinion, there's too much simplification going on. But in fairness, 3.5 does have a fairly steep learning curve, and 5e's learning curve is not nearly as steep. So for someone who's just trying to get into the game, or somebody who they're just looking for the role playing, they don't really need all the heavy statistics, I think this would actually be pretty good for them. So that's something. Yeah. Now, one of the things about 3.5 that I like is I love how customizable it is. I just love just how much you can do with your character, how you can really work those prestige classes and multi-classes and feats and every other thing, gear and all that, to make your character just the way you want him. You can't really do that so much in 5e. They really stripped a lot of that away. Now, they did keep some of it, and they did make it easier to do. So, for instance, a lot of the things that were in prestige classes in 3.5, they just put as base classes in 5e and made it so that you have to pick a path, and one of the paths is just kind of the standard class from 3.5, and then the other two are as if they had gone into a prestige. So that's kind of cool. I definitely think that's a decent way to do it, but you're still just limiting it to usually about 3 paths, and whereas in 3.5 there's far, far more, and on top of that you can mix and match them however you want to get effectively infinite numbers of possibilities. It's not really infinite, but it's very, very large numbers. So there's just so much more flexibility. Also in 5e, there's a rule where you can only attune, I believe, 3 items to your character, whereas in 3.5, you can have a magical item on every single part of your body, and which there's like a dozen at least. And on top of that, you can even add multiple effects to each item, because why not? Yeah, it costs a little bit extra to do that, but not that much. It's like a 50%, they cost like 50% more per enchantment, and you can go with the lower cost enchantment. So the most expensive one is at normal price, and then all the cheaper ones are at price plus 50%, if you want to put multiple things on the same item. So you can really go crazy with it in 3.5, whereas in 5e, they really force you to keep it down. They also don't focus too heavy on the prices, like magic item costs. They give you a big flexible range. It's it could be anywhere from 500 to 5,000. It could be anything. It's well, that's a huge freaking range. Whereas in 3.5, they say, no, it's 750. It's oh, okay, sweet. It just makes shopping so much easier in 3.5, in my opinion, because you know how much everything is. I just tell my players, okay, you want to shop? Yeah, go ahead. Anything that's not well, my game's is epic, so it's insane. But anything that's not epic, yeah, you can just buy that at the store or whatever. As long as you got the money, who cares? So that saves a lot of time. A lot of my players do that in their downtime, so we don't have to worry about that so much. Some of my players we need to do that for, but That's just because they need help. Probably do another video on that at some point. But anyways, right now we're comparing 3.5, 5e. Yeah, there's a number of differences. Yeah, there's. I think the focus on 5e has been more on the role playing and less about the rules, which to me I'm not huge on. So that's, yeah. Um, I don't know. It's personal preference. I can see the advantages of 5e for getting people into the game, but honestly, like for me, when I'm playing an RPG and I see a really complex skill tree or something of the sort, I get excited. I'm like, yeah, what can I do with this guy? You know what I mean? So uh, 3.5, it really has that. It lets you really go crazy and build your character exactly how you want him. Whereas 5e, you just can't. It's just, you're just so much more limited in what you can do in so many different ways. It's just not as good in my opinion. But then again, I've also been playing 3.5 for like forever, and you know, I've got this channel which is mostly dedicated to 3.5, so you know, I've got a little bit of a bias, but that's just my opinion. I have played 5e. I played it for about a year. I think I may have mentioned that at the beginning of the video. I can't remember, but yeah, it's a good game, but and it has its place. D&D, the base for Dungeons and Dragons, the number of people that play has just exploded since 5e came out. Now, is it just because of 5e? Probably not. There's also been a big shift to normalize the whole culture, you know, all things nerdy in the last few years, which it's become normalized. So there's a lot more people that are into that now. But part of it does have to do with 5e being easier to get into. So that's something too. But my heart's always with 3.5, 100%. But those are the real differences. Hopefully you can take something from that and decide which system you want to go with based on that. I personally heavily recommend 3.5, but you know, to each their own. Anyways, if you like the video, please consider giving it a like. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing. You know, maybe ring that bell for more content. Also, you know, if you really enjoyed it, consider sharing the video. That really helps. It really helps me get out there so that everyone can see the video. And as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.